Good morning, everyone. This is Curtis with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. Thank you for attending. Joining me is Michele Myers, our head of Life New Business today. We've got a good presentation where we're going to do a deep dive into what are some things that you can do and resources that you have access to through IAMS to help you place more life insurance business and make that process smoother for those clients that you're working with. I did want to take a couple of minutes here before getting going and go through some of the additional ways that IAMS is here to help support your business. First up is our new producer builders. So if you're a new advisor to IAMS, this is a great way to get going with us. As you're producing business, you can see we have a number of different point tiers there, and you can qualify for different types of marketing services and activities. And you automatically get enrolled into this within your first 6 months of working with us. And if you've got some questions about that, feel free to reach out, talk to one of the sales directors over here. But it's a really good way to jumpstart our relationship. In addition to that, if you know of any agents who maybe aren't quite happy with their current IMO relationship or maybe are looking to make a change, we've got a refer producer program. One of the unique things about this is instead of it just being a one-time deal, on an ongoing basis, you can earn revenue from that referral. You don't have to do anything. We'll take care of all the service and support for the rep. And then going back to that new producer bonus, once you cash in on that, you automatically get enrolled into our standard marketing reimbursement program. And as you can see there, you accrue $100 for every $100,000 of qualifying indexed annuity premium, as well as $200 for every $100,000 of single premium life, or $200 for every $10,000 of life target. In addition to that, we're going to be touching on this throughout the course of the presentation, but IAMS has established itself as a premier firm when it comes to back office support and service and the resources that you have available. And so I won't spend too much time on this since we're going to be going through this, but suffice to say, if you haven't tested us out in that regard, I would definitely encourage you to do it. One thing that we're very focused on is technology. And so we've invested very heavily into the IAMS portal and the support and service that you get with that. You can essentially do anything you want to on there, whether it's e-applications, quotes, training, evaluate marketing, prospecting, variety of resources, all easily accessible in the IAMS portal. You just need to be contracted with IAMS to access that. If you've got questions on that, feel free to reach out, talk to one of your sales directors here. That number is 800-255-5055. In addition to that, as I touched on, and we'll talk a little bit about e-apps throughout the course of today, we do integrate with all of your core e-app platforms. So you can easily go right to the IAMS Inc. website and really do an e-application with the majority of the insurance carriers that we work with. Also wanted to touch on our marketing and creative services program. For many advisors, marketing, prospecting are some of the biggest challenges that you have. And that's really where IAMS, I think, has a very strong value proposition, whether it's updating your brand or your digital footprint, or if we're not quite sure how to market and you've got goals for the year, we're getting ready to go into Q4. And so I think one thing that a lot of advisors think about is, where am I at right now in my business? And am I on pace to hit my goals? And if not, taking advantage of our complementary marketing analysis can be a great way to take a step back, take a look at how things are working, and then figure out what might be the right combination of marketing activities. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, reach out, talk to one of the sales directors over here. That number is 800-255-5055. We also, in addition to the fixed annuity as well as insurance space, we work in the security space as well. So we do have IAMS Wealth Management. For many advisors, they probably see an opportunity with the gathering of assets, and we've really designed that platform to support reps who are maybe wanting to get into that space. And so if you've got questions about that, you can reach out, talk to one of the sales directors. They can get a call set up to chat with you with one of the reps over at IAMS Wealth. Did want to touch on some of the fun things that we have going on right now. So we're right in the mix of qualification for our Beachy Keen incentive trip to the Dominican Republic. Qualification for that continues to run. That event will be March 22nd through the 25th. You can access your point totals on the IAMS Inc. website, or simply call in, talk to a sales director here, and they can get you those numbers. In addition to that, we also have our Park City event coming up, latter part of or midpoint of next year. We're right in the thick of qualification for that. That's in partnership with SILAC. Going to be a really nice 4-day event. Good meetings, good experience, etc. So if you have interest in that, certainly reach out, talk to a sales director. That'll be beginning of August next year. Did want to touch on this training as a core piece of what our value proposition is, and so we regularly do life and annuity academies, and these are really a great opportunity for you to take a little bit of time out of the business to spend time working on it. When you're back home, you're working in the business and you're marketing and prospecting and running appointments and all those kind of things, and so this can be a great 2.5-day event to spend some time getting up to speed on current marketing trends and what's going on in the product space, and learn best practices from top producers throughout the country. And so if you've got interest in that, feel free to reach out, talk to one of the sales directors here. They're more than happy to chat with you around that. Lastly, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. We do a lot of content syndication, and so it's a great way to take a look at what's going on in the marketplace and what we have going on over here. So I'm going to pause here and get presentation switched around. So with me today, I've got Michele Myers. She oversees our Life New Business department. And we're having her come on today to go through what are some of the best practices when it comes to Life New Business. There's been a lot of, I think, growth and evolution in the life insurance space here over the last 5 years. And one of the things that we've seen is there's been a number of updates. And so what we'll be going through today are some of the best practices that you can incorporate to make that process easier, not only for you, but for your clients as well. So Michele, appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Thank you. Good morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So here at IAMS, we are here to help from beginning to end. When you are meeting with a client and you need help trying to figure out the best carrier to place that client with, if you need help with illustrations, you can reach out to us and one of our sales directors can help you with that. We also have an in-house underwriter. So if you have a client that has any type of health issues or health concerns, you can call in and talk to her, and she can walk you through and kind of figure out, again, what the best carrier is, and then refer you over to your sales director. We assist with any of the questions that you may have. We also review paper applications to ensure accuracy and completeness before submission. As Curtis had mentioned, we do EAPS, which is the preferred method. Nowadays, we have a couple carriers that require paper applications, maybe on your first application with them, or say it's the state of New York. We also communicate with the agent throughout the application process. So once that application comes to our desk, we review it, we get it submitted, we communicate with you guys, and we let you know what those expectations are so that you can then let your client know what those expectations are moving forward through the process. We also order Paramed exams and medical records when requested by the underwriter. We try to do this on all of our cases, but there are some carriers that do not allow us to order those Paramed exams or medical records. We like to do that because, one, we're in charge, we can press for them, we can keep an eye on them, and two, if the application comes back other than applied for or declined, we have that information in our office to send over to our in-house underwriter to review to see if we have somewhere else we can place them. We also assist with enforced policies. So once that policy is placed in force, our job does not stop. We help with anything that needs to be done on the enforced side as well. So just a couple of things to keep in mind before submitting an application. If you're quoting a client with medical history or issues, request an IAMS screening questionnaire. So we have questionnaires for all kinds of different health and medical issues. So if you have one in particular, say it's a heart issue or it's diabetes, you can call in and ask one of our sales directors or even one of the processing team members to send you over that questionnaire so that we can get you set up with the correct carrier the first time. Make sure that you're setting expectations with the clients on timeframes, exams, and inspections. So again, we will let you know, like in an APS, if we have to order an APS, we will let you know it can take anywhere up to 30 days normally, but if it takes longer than that, we're going to let you know just to set that expectation. When you're getting ready to write an application, our biggest request is to make sure you are contracted with that carrier before submitting that business. This helps us so that we don't have to hold that application until you have your contracting completed and we can get it all sent over to the carrier at the same time.
That's a good point, because isn't it at the carriers? I mean, they have a certain amount of time where that appointment has to become effective. Otherwise, the agent might have to go back and redo the app.
Right. So if the agent's contracting is submitted after the application is contracted, the carrier can only contract back. Some are 10, some are 15 days prior. So, and they go by the date that the application is signed.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's why it's important to make sure all of contracting is completed, because then that again will hold up the business, and then you have to go back to the client to then explain that you have to have a new application signed, and we don't want to do that. And then of course we're gonna encourage you to register on our IAMSinc.com website. You can go there and complete your e-applications. That's really a one-stop shop. You can run term quotes, you can run GUL quotes. So if you're meeting with a client in the evening, you don't have to wait for us to run those illustrations for you. You can go ahead and you can go out there and you can do that and complete that sale that evening. I encourage you to go out and just kind of explore and get to know our website. It's a very good website.
Well, if they're not sure, I mean, you can reach out to a sales director. We do a lot of IAMS Inc. portal walkthroughs where we'll not just on the e-app part of it, we'll go through the entire thing and what resources you have on there.
Yep. So if you're going to be completing a paper application, please make sure that you're reaching out to us so we can send you the most current updated application packet. That's another thing that we see on the regular is an agent submits an application and it's not on the right or most current forms. Assure your client that all discussed information is confidential. We at IAMS do not sell your client's information. The carriers, I do not believe, sell their information either. So everything that is submitted through us is confidential. And make sure you use the field underwriting to learn more about your client during the meeting. That will help us. The more you know about your client, the more information you can then provide to us, so that we don't have to keep going back and forth with you and you going back and forth with your client. If you do have a client that has a visa, a green card, or proof of citizenship for foreign citizenship, I encourage that you send that all with the application. Again, because this will be information that the carrier asks for. So the more we can provide them up front, the less they have to ask for, and the quicker we can get it pushed through their system.
Well, I feel like we see quite a few foreign national cases, and I really think one important thing when you have that is to reach out, talk to a sales director, or talk to Andrea, our underwriter, because the carriers, I mean, there is some variation on how they treat that. So then we at least are making sure that we know what the situation is and we're going down the right path with the right carrier.
Yes, most definitely. So when you're submitting applications, if you're submitting a paper app, you can submit that to us 3 different ways. You can fax it in to the 402-330-7296. You can go to the IAMS website and you can upload it to there, or you can email life@iamsinc.com. When you email it to that email address, it goes directly to the processing team, and we then get it over to the processor that works at carrier. If you use iGo and Firelight e-app solutions, that is definitely faster processing. Paper applications, once we receive them, we have to review them, make sure that everything on that application is accurate and complete before we submit them. When you use IGO and Firelight, they don't let you submit that application until it is completely completed. So that's one of the nice features for IGO and Firelight is once we get it, we know it's complete and we can submit it to the carrier. And then make sure that all personal, medical, and beneficiary information is complete and accurate. So make sure that the client's social security number is correct, date of birth is correct, address is correct, email address is correct. Make sure that all of their medical information is included, beneficiary information, make sure first and last names are right, date of birth, social security numbers, etc. Again, this prevents us from having to go back to verify all of that information. And if you are doing an IGO or a Firelight e-app, all of the client's personal information has to be correct. Otherwise, they can't access that application to go in and do their signatures. And then make sure that you're providing full details for all yes medical questions. This is important because, again, it gives the carrier a deep dive into those medical yes answers and hopefully will prevent them from coming back and asking for additional information. So when we're asking for the full details, make sure you're providing the current and past primary care physician information for the past 5 years. Make sure you're including their name, address, phone number, the date of the last visit, outcome results of that visit, and if there's any follow-up appointments or further testing needed. These are all things that the carrier will come back and ask for. So if we can, again, provide that up front, it just helps us push it through a little bit quicker. And then remember that non-med accelerated underwriting does not mean that it's a guarantee issue. We have found when they've been submitted that way, they do come back and they do get pushed over to traditional underwriting because if the client's applied for insurance within the past 6 months, that will kick them out of that accelerated underwriting. Or if there are any medical questions, that again will kick them out of that accelerated underwriting. During the underwriting process, if you're completing the Part 2 medical online, make sure that you set the client's expectations. So a lot of the carriers are now going with like an ePHI, which is an electronic Part 2, or a phone call. So make sure that you're letting your client know that to be expecting that email or that phone call and encourage them to get those completed as quickly as possible. The longer it takes them, the longer that file sits there at the carrier. They can't move on until they have all of that information completed. If the client is filling out a paper Part 2, again, make sure all questions are completed and yes, answers are detailed as possible. Make sure that all of the full medical information is submitted, as I stated just previously. What do we need to do when a Paramed exam is required? For the best results, advise your client to fast for at least 8 to 12 hours prior to the exam if blood work is being drawn. I would encourage them to try and get those scheduled first thing in the morning. We know that fasting throughout the day is never any fun. Be well hydrated, drink plenty of water. This helps with a urine sample and the blood draw if you're well hydrated. Avoid high salt intake. It keeps blood pressure at a normal level. Limit alcohol and caffeine. These items can elevate blood pressure and affect liver function tests, and we don't want those issues and problems because the carrier will not allow for those to be retested. Make sure you avoid strenuous exercise at least 24 to 48 hours prior to the exam. Again, it raises blood pressure readings and the client's pulse. Avoid nicotine and tobacco. Again, it raises heart rate and blood pressure. If we have high blood pressure readings, then that's going to give that client a different rating as if we were to get the regular blood pressures. Make sure your client has a list of prescriptions, dosages, physician information, again, name, address, phone number, and reason for those prescriptions before that exam happens so that they can provide all of that information to the examiner. And if you're having to do a stress test, make sure that they're wearing comfortable clothes and shoes. When your case is approved, your case manager will request issue instructions. They'll either give you a phone call or they will send you an email letting you know that your case has been approved, what that approval rating was, if it was approved other than applied for, they will provide you the reason for that approval rating. What happens if the application is approved other than applied for? We will notify our in-house underwriter, Andrea. She will take a look at the case and see if we can get it placed somewhere else if your client is not happy with that approval. Now, that doesn't happen all the time, but we do our best to try and find the best fit for your client, which is why it's important to get that health screening before you submit that application, so we don't have to try and pivot to a different carrier and have to go through this process all over again. If we're not able to get a more favorable rating, again, we will pivot over to our in-house underwriter, and we will do our best to try and find a better fit for your client. The policies either will go out paper policy or e-policy, just depends on what was selected on that application or how that carrier does their policies. We have a lot of them now since COVID that are doing e-policies or mailing policies directly to the clients and not the agents. And then once all delivery requirements are completed and submitted to the carrier, the case manager will notify you that the policy has been placed in force with a policy effective date. You should then shortly afterwards be seeing your commissions hit your account.
I feel like one big thing in this whole process is, there's a lot of IMOs where they have people on the new business side that are just kind of case status people. So they're just kind of kicking out case status. And really with how we've structured things, we have case managers. And so they're taking an active role in how do we affect the outcome of this policy? How do we get it done quicker? How do we get to the right rate class? And so I do think one thing that's important is the case managers, they're not just sending out emails, they're calling and sending emails. And so, if they're calling or shooting email, they're trying to help you. Make sure you're getting back to them too in a timely manner.
Yeah, so our goal and what we pride ourselves on is we call more than we send emails.
Yeah.
Just so that we do have that interaction with those agents and we are building those relationships. And if we're calling, we're not calling just because we're calling because we need something or we have good news. It'd be nice if we had the time to be able to call and just say hi, but unfortunately we're pretty busy here. And so if we are calling, it is because we are either needing something or we have news for you, or we need an update or provide you with an update on where things stand. So these are all of your life team contacts. So this is the new business team. As it says, I'm the director of Life New Business. We have Kim Irish, we have Chrissy Kramer, Denise McHenry, and Michele Fennenstill for life case managers. Cynthia, she dabbles in some of those life case managers as well. And then we have Leslie Castanasa, who is a life sales support associate. So if you need an illustration, you can call and ask to speak to her too. She's pretty good about being able to help you design those cases if a sales director is not available.
I think another important thing too on this is, while you're going to get a dedicated case manager from start to finish on your case, we use a centralized CRM system. So the team is making sure that they're getting good, accurate notes in there. So if you happen to call in and maybe somebody's on lunch or you have an ASAP and whatever it might be, any of the members of the team can go in there and see what's going on with the case.
Yeah, and all of our case managers have designated carriers. So we don't have, everybody is not working all the same carriers, and that is so that we are all well-versed, well-familiar, and can help with those specific carriers. Again, any of the sales or Live New Business team members can help, but we do have those carriers assigned accordingly, just so that we are more proficient with those carriers. And then I did skip a page. We do have the sales directors as well. So we have Curtis, Paul, John, Fred, Matt, who are our life sales directors, and Andrea, who is in our in-house underwriter. So you have all of their email contacts as well. And again, you can call in to the office, 800-255-5055, and just ask for anybody for some help.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one thing is life insurance is a big piece of who IAMS is. I think sometimes people might think that we primarily focus on annuities, but we take a pretty balanced approach, and that's why we built the size of the team out that we have, because we want to work with you on your life insurance business. We want to support you, and so we wanted to make sure that we've got the staffing in place to do that, as well as the ability to help you from a marketing and a prospecting standpoint. And so I know we've spent a lot of time today talking about how do we get those clients through the process as quickly and seamlessly as possible. But I think equally important is how do we get in front of those people? And so we have built out a variety of resources from a life marketing standpoint, whether it's marketing that you want to do yourself or you're looking to take a look at some of our individual or event lead generation campaigns. We've got those available as well. And so I'd encourage you to reach out and talk to the sales team if you've got questions on that. The other thing that we've done too is we have put together a life insurance best practices guide. This is a really effective tool that does a little bit more of a deep dive on best practices for submitting new business and increasing your placement ratio as well. And so that's certainly something that's available as well to you. You just need to reach out, talk to one of the sales directors, and then get that over to you. So with that, I appreciate everybody taking some time with us today. I hope part of what you have seen is, one, hope there's a couple of tips, tricks that you're able to pick up through the course of the presentation. But secondly, we have a ton of support on every phase of that sales funnel, from getting in front of prospects to we do a lot of work from a case design standpoint and positioning, so we can run numbers, quotes, et cetera, for you. And then when we do get that prospect that we're converting into a client, you've got a dedicated team to support you and get that business through that much more quickly. So appreciate everybody's time today and taking a little bit of time out of their day to work with us. And we'll be having the sales team follow up with you, see what questions or comments you might have on this. And Michelle, I appreciate you taking some time with us today as well.
Thank you.